This is Max, also known as Rinhari Saki. He's our in-house Breath of the Wild expert. With over 2,300 hours in the games, he's created techniques and even has a 99-page combat glossary. And today, as many of you requested, he's breaking down even more viral and ridiculous Breath of the Wild clips.
Who does it the normal way? You want to do the cool way with all the glitches and stuff. So. Okay. Okay, cool. What we got going on here, it looks like it's an any percent speedrun. I don't know who it is. This is a pretty common strat to go to Hyrule Castle and grab these ingredients and then throw them into the pot. This thing that he's cooking is a triple attack up boost, which is a huge boost to your attack that you'll definitely need during the Calamity Ganon fight. This needs to be cooked without getting hit by moblins, obviously. And this is a technique to get around those moblins. So what he does here was throw a bomb to distract one, and then sneak strikes the other one. Now when an enemy is sneak striked, they can't hear or see anything. So he uses that time to cook that boost and get out of dodge. So there's actually another technique with sneak strikes called sneak strike chaining, which is basically using the sneak strike to do it over and over. And you do that by sneak striking the enemy, going to the other side, and then sneak striking again, because they will always look to the point where you attack them first. So basically, you sneak strike them, you turn around, go to the other side, and then sneak striking them again to pretty much do an infinite on the enemy until they're dead.
Stop! He's already dead!
Sneak strike chaining isn't used much in speedruns because there's other more efficient ways to get enemies killed, and you're usually just going to get the weapons, not usually going for the enemy kills. So this is just another combat strat that you could use in speedruns. Oh, I think I know what he's doing already. Okay, so this is a technique that's really cool called cutscene damage. So basically, there's a very specific setup with very specific points, mostly with Ganon. I don't know about other fights, mostly with the Blight and with Calamity Ganon, where you can shoot an arrow in a very, very, very specific spot just as you're about to enter a cutscene, and that arrow will be suspended in midair. And since these cutscenes are live and in real time, when the boss comes in, it's gonna be literally stuck in that arrow. And that arrow is gonna be doing damage live during the cutscene. So that's why you saw his head kind of freak out, because that arrow is hitting his eye. So basically, he's just getting infinite damage while he's just sitting there during the cutscene. And as soon as that cutscene stops, he's dead immediately. This is pretty useful for any kind of speedrun, obviously, because the first boss is dead immediately. You can do this against Calamity Ganon as well. This was just looks like an any percent run for, you know, just the Fire Blight Ganon. At least get them out of the way so you don't have to deal with the first Blight, which is, you know, obviously going to be a huge time saver. So he first starts off here at a very specific setup. You have to do this setup in order to get that arrow in the exact place where you need to be. Because if you miss this arrow shot, it won't do the cutscene damage like it's supposed to. I'm pretty sure at some point this was discovered by somebody accidentally doing this. And obviously, just to kind of randomly go into the fight and just randomly shoot off an arrow, you're not going to get it every single time. So this is to guarantee the arrow to be hitting every single time. And then on top of that, what you want to do is you want to pause the game, because this will also guarantee that you have the timing down of you entering the cutscene perfectly. Because what happens is you hit the start button. He does the attack boost, obviously, just to get the attack damage buff for the fight. But he is holding forward during that pause button. So then as soon as he unpauses, he goes into that cutscene immediately. And once you do that correctly, then the boss is dead. Insta-kill, basically. So can't argue with that. So that was a cute little ragdoll launch. A lot of launch techniques in this game are based off of ragdoll. While you're in ragdoll, including enemies and yourself, there's just a lot of extra launch physics around you. So if you did that while you were standing, you wouldn't go nearly as far. So in order to just forcefully initiate ragdoll like that, what you can do is shield surf. You can also shield spin, and as you're doing that, just simply go to your quick menu and just go to no shield, and that'll basically just remove the shield from underneath his feet and make him just fall on the ground. There's a lot more intricate techniques to getting around that section, throwing the bomb simply, or bomb flipping, or wind bombing. I'm sure there's a lot of other ways around, but that's just another way to get over that section without having to do the whole put the bomb on the thing, wait for it to launch. Who does it the normal way? You want to do the cool way with all the glitches and stuff. So. So more BTB fun. BTB is bullet time bounce. This is actually a pretty common one that you see pretty often during speedruns. This one's a little variation though, because it's specifically built, looks like, for shooting this Guardian. So let's start from the beginning here. So basically this is a bullet time bounce setup. What he's doing first is to whistle to get the Bokoblins' attention to turn around towards the outside. And then what he does is shoot an arrow at a very specific spot to make the Bokoblin distracted and walk over to that position. And then afterwards you'll be thinking, like, why would he just be randomly swinging axes on top of this building like a crazy idiot? But that's actually used for timing. These attacks and those jumps have very specific amounts of time. That's pretty easy to duplicate if you just you can just mash attack over and over. It's gonna have that same swing speed every single time. So that's all for just timing purposes. So you need to jump off the Temple of Time in a very specific time, because the Bokoblin needs to be at a very specific place to make this BTB work correctly. Because the Bokoblin moving around, even looking left to right, that will change your BTB, because there's a hitbox around the enemy that will change your launch trajectory depending on where you hit on the enemy, and very, very minute differences will cause you to launch in just completely opposite directions. So you need to have them looking and facing in a very specific way. So bullet time bounce is basically a technique where if you're shield surfing in slow-mo and you touch an enemy that is ragdollable, such as a Bokoblin, they'll basically ragdoll and just kind of fall to the floor, and that moment causes you to launch away really quickly. And obviously he used that in conjunction with firing an arrow to pretty much just fly with the arrow and follow it and look cool to shoot that Guardian from a massive 14 miles away. So another just cool BTB shot. Obviously these are super fun to watch. There's a whole bunch of these on Twitter. There's just a whole bunch of creative ones that people have come up with, with wind bombs and BTBs and all sorts of launching techniques to make these look really flashy. So it's just another cool one that we can see again. So he's utilizing a technique here where if you freeze an enemy then stasis them, you can use that to conduct electricity with shock arrows. Now he's utilizing more of that because he's going to slow motion, and so he has more time to do these shots. By doing this with a 5-shot Lionel bow like this, he's doing massive damage. So if you think about it, a 5-shot bow does 5 arrows. Every time that shock arrow touches a frozen and stasis enemy, it will do the conduction and we'll do a Thunderdome. And that Thunderdome does 40 damage. So if you think about it, he's doing this over and over and over, 40 times 3 or 5, over and over and over in that AoE or, area of effect range. Those enemies are just toast. It doesn't even matter the color. The gold enemy was smart in this case because they do have the most HP, but pretty much anything in that radius that's affected by electricity dies. So it's a good way to cheese if you want to get past some enemies and you don't have too much equipment on you. Okay, so this guy is Hylian Vicky, I think. He's doing some really advanced stuff, and this was actually an accident. So, what happened here? Oh god, this is gonna be the really advanced stuff. Wait, he had a fireball come out? Hold on. Oh wow, I didn't see that part. What the hell? Okay, so we're gonna explain this in 3 different ways. We're gonna explain first just the techniques he used in order, and then we're gonna try to explain the intricacies of it and how it actually happened, and then I'm just gonna explain what happened. So first, he did a Daruk shield block reset to get into the air, and then he slow Daruk marked the fireball, and then he did another Daruk shield block reset into an absolute thunderclap rush, and he absolute thunderclap rushed the air. So what actually happened here was he was airborne. He used Daruk shield block reset to get into the air. That's not important. The important part is what the Lionel did. So if the Lionel sees the bomb without seeing you, it will instinctively throw a fireball at it to knock it away and jump backwards. And what happened was when he placed that bomb down in the ground, the Lionel fireballed him and hit his Daruk's protection. So he was in the air, in slow motion, with Daruk's protection on, and the fireball hit him. That triggered to be marked in that spot of where the next flurry rush will be. And then he just did another Daruk shield block reset to get airborne again, and then he did a thunderclap rush, but that thunderclap rush, it's an absolute thunderclap rush. That will go towards that mark that was set by the fireball. In short, he flurry rushed the fireball. That's pretty much what happened. Alright, here's some homework for you guys. This isn't too difficult to do, and once you got the muscle memory down, it becomes super useful in many places in the game. The basic bomb parry is a flashy and multi-useful technique that's great for combat and farming materials. To perform a bomb parry, you'll need a shield, and preferably you should switch to square bombs. You can do this with round bombs, but there's more room for error if it rolls away. What you'll want to do is stand and hold ZL, then jump, then press the bomb button midair. This will drop the bomb directly in front of Link. Then, press the bomb and parry very quickly in succession. So again, that's hold ZL, X then L and A very quickly. If you parry too early, the bomb will hit Link. If you parry too late, the shield will break. The biggest mistake people make is if you are out of combat and are not ZL locked onto an enemy, the pickup prompt ruins your parry because Link will attempt to pick up the bomb instead of parrying it. So, while you're out exploring, always back up a couple steps before parrying. If you want to practice this easily without the hassle of backing off every time, first grab a couple shields, then find any Hinox out in the open. Then, start walking until you're close enough to lock onto it. Save your game so you don't lose your shield you accidentally break, then practice away. Don't worry, you're far enough away and the Hinox won't hear you. After a while, you'll get the timing down and you'll start blowing away your foes left and right. Thanks again for watching, and don't forget to share your own clips and suggestions in the comments below.